quite a bit. We had some numbers come out. Didn't come out very well. So that's why we're seeing a little bit of a sell-off here in crude. So let's take a look. You can see we're getting close to some of our bottom bands here. At a 5-minute term buy on crude, let's see if it'll hold those levels right there on that red band. Kind of a crucial area. See if the support levels will hold on crude here. Still looking pretty heavy on crude though. I just took out the low there. Big push. On crude. Carry trade taken in there, though. We'll see how this.
How about now?
There you go. Gotcha.
I knew I'll figure this out one of these days.
So, API numbers came out bad on crude, so seeing a little bit of a sell-off here.
Yeah, there was. I think those Glencore numbers came in worse than expected.
See what those numbers are.
You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Daily S&P kind of bouncing back today. There was rumor of a rate cut / quantitative easing push by China. The numbers have been coming in pretty bad. So 4 hour, there's still more of the bounce from Friday. 1 hour a little extended on the S&P. Same with the 15. Kind of got the stair step pattern going though. Possibly buy some dips. Our friend Crude has been doing its thing today. Daily's pretty neutral. 4 hours definitely at a spot where it could be a natural spot to hold. Had this little spike up. I just think that it's just news that's knocking it down. There it is on the 1 hour. So we've had this pre-market spike and now it's coming back in. Same here. There's a 5-minute. Tough pattern. Let's go through the NASDAQ real quick. NASDAQ bouncing also. Got a little extended, still holding in there pretty good. 15 still holding in that stair step pattern. $5 minutes kind of hanging there too. Typically, I'd like to see it get down to better levels, but this is kind of what I call no man's land, but definitely bounce. So lately, it seems like strategy-wise, with regards to the S&P, kind of waiting for the extremes usually is a good play, no matter which way it's going. Same with crude. I think it's just that that's the product of this market. There's a lot of algos out there that are contrarian, so they fade the market. So a contrarian system is selling up here, buying down here. Actually, it's probably even more like selling here and buying there. Constantly building a position opposite to the way the market's going. Definitely appears to be the trade du jour lately. That shows up in flatter lines. Not so much on the hourly though. But definitely for the S&P, NASDAQ. This recent push up has been based on the idea that there's more quantitative easing coming from either China or the U.S. Fed is not going to raise rates this year. Another year of free money. Still got to tighten up our spots on for entries.
We've got kind of a high basing pattern on the S&P. NASDAQ's obviously come back quite a bit, so it's probably financials holding that up, huh?
Yeah, the S&P and NASDAQ are a little bit. You could see how this was the overnight spike on the China news, and then took out the high. Here's the overnight high. We barely took it out, and now we broke below it. So in my book, when the NASDAQ is weaker than the S&P, that's actually bearish. Reason being is the top traders trade the NASDAQ stocks, and so typically when they're more right than wrong, let's just say. So let's see if the NASDAQ can hold in this area or if it's going to go down to here. I think we had similar levels over here this morning.
Yeah, we're trading 4807, 4808 right now, which was kind of an area we were looking at 48 basically. Was it 43, 45, or 40 on the NASDAQ?
Yeah, I think 43. I mean, that's unfortunately, you know, those are the kind of numbers when it gets to it, it's starting to be a more bearish technical pattern. That's even like, let's just kind of go anatomy of a trade on crude. You get a breakdown to wash out some stops. You get this rally that goes deep pullback and a more aggressive rally. So this bar here really kind of beat up the bullish case. It, you know, basically got it almost down to the prior low, you know, in that area. So when you want a bullish pattern to keep in check, you'd want to see the pullback should have held here and then kept going. So once this came in, that kind of knocks this whole pattern out from a bullish perspective. although longs from this lower area could work out, but they're going to be a little bit more difficult trades. Same thing here. If this NASDAQ can hold and start pushing higher, then that's actually a pretty decent spot to hold. I always feel like you want to get in before the big move than after waiting for the pullback after the move. Even though it does work out, it's still the easier trade is definitely kind of prior to the moves.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Seems like, though, that you're getting some acceptance in price here on the S&P. So let's see if it's 4360 on the NASDAQ is a little bit of resistance there. Let's see if it breaks through it. Crude looks like it's starting to push higher too.
Yeah.
It came all the way back down and took out those lows, though, you know.
Right. Yeah, it's probably a good washout, you know. Trying to look at this S&P. You're saying it's financials?
I mean, it would have to be. This probably holding it up. Crude's definitely not.
Right. Yeah, I haven't looked at the stocks yet.
Where do we find that number, that oil number?
I can't find it anywhere, but you could definitely get a free trial for it.
Got it.
For a month. I meant to do that. I mean, it sounds, it's the way their methodology is and how they do it, it's very precise. It's very, seems pretty accurate. It's got a 90-something% correlation to the DOE number, so. Seems like a pretty good tool to have. I guess it's just all event risk on those. You got the API Tuesday, and then which is pretty much after hours. So, or the other one, I can't keep track of them all right. But it seems to weigh on it if it's going to be
exactly. Yeah.
It's a big build, and then seems like every week that's what it leans on. Drags the market down with a big build, and then after that it's back to rally mode. Yeah, it's just drifting.
What's that?
They're all just kind of drifting here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go back. The 1 minute's trying to turn a little bit on the red, but this is where you got a conflict. So I'm trying to find, just from a training perspective, got the gold bands down, red bands up, so that's where you get this kind of choppy yet trending down.
Yeah.
Can't get any lower time frame than 1 minute, so can't help you there for the. And it should hold in this area. It really probably
Yeah,
there's a lot of
definitely a bearish sign. There's no question about it.
it's almost just more choppy, you know.
Yeah.
Crude is kind of the only thing that can just go from lows to highs and then back to lows again. We used to have the megaphone though and the NASDAQ and the like, but that seemed to have faded. That algo's been retired. So this is working out over time. Just kind of hung here and now it's drifting sideways. The fact that it was hanging out there and not pushing new lowers based on price, that's more bullish. Crude is just kind of hanging out. I could get a washout low actually on crude, just to get all those sellers out of the way.
They're thinking about it.
Yep. So Andrew, you tired from Sacramento?
Man, you know what? It was so much fun hanging out with everybody. It was a good couple days. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely, typically what happens after I get done with something like that, because, I mean, it was really 2 weeks, right? Because it was Chicago and then not really even a break and then right into Sacramento. So that's why you can hear this nasally a little bit. I tend to get, my body tends to shut down for a couple of days. So that'll be back on the horse. How's, you're down in Naples. How's the beaches in Florida?
Going there after the room, so it's good. It's good down here. It's actually a little chillier than normal, but that's, you know, chilly is 75 degrees, so
exactly.
And not a cloud in the sky.
Better than what? 40 in Chicago right now?
I haven't looked, but probably 42. So crude is just completely asleep. Wow, kind of amazing.
Yeah, it fell 80 cents. Now it's just chilling, not really doing much, is it? Back and forth, back and forth.
Well, rally a dollar, fall 80 cents. Yeah,
exactly.
Seems like the NASDAQ is slowly grinding higher. Market is asleep today.
Little punch drunk from the weekend, I guess, huh?
I guess. I don't know. That's strange.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I've been in 1, 2, 3, for 6 states in 2 weeks.
Nice. So busy news week. We've got we had some spending and prices were pretty flat. I didn't even see the pending home sales. They came in better than expected. But we've got some numbers tomorrow. Consumer confidence is good, and then ADP, ISM, construction spending, crude. Wednesday's a busy day. Auto sales. Thursday, initial claims, trade balance, factory orders. Man, they just piled everything in this week. And then unemployment Friday.
Equals volatility.
Should be. Could be, should be.
Exactly.
I have to get my range.
So explain the working itself out over time idea, just so people can understand. Something I was going over when I was in Sacramento, so it'd be kind of nice to kind of get your input on it.
Well, it's almost like if you think of like marking time, like you're almost just wasting time and then waiting for the next move. So typically when you get this kind of price action, like if something sold off and it was bearish, it would have kept, it would have rallied and then sold off and made lower lows. The fact that it just drifted sideways after an up move, a retrace, this is totally a perfect example of working out over time. So we spent all that time in a very tight range and then it spiked up. And then you look in here. You look in this area here, how it's just going. We've had this sell-off, rally, big sell-off, and it just drifted sideways, and then now it's just going higher. So, kind of the difference. Versus price is when you get aggressive moves, and that's showing, hey, I'm bullish. It went exactly straight up to that band. So it's doing it by price. This is doing it by time. Okay. It's funny how when you look at fundamentals, etc., and as snappy as it's been trading lately, this weekly chart of crude, this daily chart of crude, and it feels like we could take out that low. Especially out of the red bands, we're so easily shutting it down. And then you get the let's see here. I have to go. Let me go find the other charts. I'll pull up futures charts, and then I'll get the get a more stunning view of the oil situation. If we shut that down, we'll go through futures. Got the kind of back and forth still. I would say that's starting to be a little bit of a topping pattern, but nothing a little more QE couldn't, quantitative easing couldn't solve, right?
Exactly.
Maybe China, maybe Zimbabwe, who knows? Back to those record, kind of record low areas in the volatility too.
So explain why the QE for China is important.
Well, they're now close to, I guess they're the second largest economy in the world. So it's U.S., China, and Japan, top three. If you count the Euro area, that's number 4. So Euro area is in pretty much almost a recession, contraction. And then China really hasn't, they have their particular demographic growth things that were going and just kind of getting more up with the last 20 years of getting more modern. So they definitely had a lot of growth. They've been doing 7, 8, 9, 10% for years on end, 10 years straight. So now that it's slowing down, that you can start to see it in metals, grains, etc. I mean, I think that's really when China starts slowing down. But if they start doing QE, there's actually, just want to look at the 10-year note. 10-year note stabilized pretty good. See if we can get this to come up. Guess you can't get petroleum weekly. Oh well. So the word was that they're when they do stimulus, they don't mess around. So their stock market rallied 50% in the past probably 6 months. They did do some QE back earlier, and they did change their different rates and lower their rates. And it's when they do it, it's such massive size that, well, this was a rumor. This move here was a rumor. Some guy talking about doing it from basically the Chinese Fed, the PBOC. You're talking about how much world markets rallied a lot. Just based on a rumor of some guy talking about it. Well, it's pretty powerful. They do stimulus. And then I was even looking over the weekend of the numbers in Japan of how much they've bought of ETFs and then how much they're going to end up owning. So basically, they've come out and committed that they're going to continue to buy. If the market goes down, they're committing to buy more stock and more ETF. And if they continue buying at the current pace, that within the next 2 years, they will own the entire stock market in Japan.
That's crazy.
But that's why I like seeing this. You can compare it. Here's the Dow, S&P. Look at the Nikkei. Why wouldn't you buy that? That's a daily chart of the Nikkei. It's just to the moon because they're but we're buying it. I don't care how bad the numbers are. They've actually, the recent numbers, they're back almost in deflation and contraction. So they've been bouncing around between. They had 2 quarters of official negative numbers, so that's technically a recession, and then now they're bounced back positive slightly, and then they're bouncing back negative. So all in all, that's pretty sad. Their idea was to do basic currency. They did that by about a third. You would think that their goods would be a third cheaper. So that would spur sales, but actually exports dropped again. So that's pretty much when in doubt, do more, right? Not working?
Let's do more of the same.
More of the same if it's not working, so that is what's going on. Besides that, you got to figure they have a kind of a lockout period for buybacks for earnings. So I guess for the month of April, it's they don't really do many buybacks, so that could hurt the stock market here in the U.S.
We're also entering. We're almost into the summer months too, so it tends to be slow down.
Yeah, they usually want to. They're usually the bigger move at some point in the spring. So, but I just think that if the majority, especially in February, there was, I don't know, 100 billion or whatever in buyback. That's a lot of money coming in. Basically, 5 billion a day coming into the stock market.
A couple shekels, huh?
Well, it's pretty much equivalent to the old QE. They were doing 8 billion a day, so now let's look on a daily chart how that worked out. Basically, it's February 1st through 28th. This rally here. Corporates bought back 100 billion in stock. Although I think some are getting smarter, they're buying on pullbacks. Why not, right?
Yeah.
Just be blind. Let's just buy today. So, God, get those spikes and then it's so dead. Is there any other news that's coming out? I guess not. It's pretty quiet the rest of the day. So what you want to do from a trading perspective is when you go through your, I guess you're more in prep, you go through and do your charts, you're following your systems, you're doing all your things. If there's no trade, don't force a trade. Very, very bad idea to force a trade, that's for sure. Good way to give away money, right?
Yep.
So let's look at the yen, part of the dollar. Complex. Been sitting sideways for months. Just definitely woke up this morning. Here's the 1 hour. Basically, the dollar's been getting a pretty good lift this morning. You got to figure that the big sell-off after the Fed might be over with. Same with the euro. Euro daily seems to be rolling over.
Yeah, just gotten quiet, hasn't it?
Yeah. You look at some of these days, and the high-low is like 25 pips. I mean, this is a daily chart. These days, it's like a 40 pip range, maybe. Even the biggest day here was 44 to.
Yeah.
That was the Fed day. Definitely seems like it wants to. This pacing holds, it could break out. They're going to keep printing until it works, right? That's the plan. Yeah. Question.
Yeah, craziness. Just weird how it ramps and then sits. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not really
Well,
seeing
you gotta
anything.
trade-wise, now it just seems like it's hanging out here too long. Like you usually want it to give some kind of move. But that's part of the lack of liquidity in the markets that some of these different groups talk about, high frequency trading and stuff like that. You know, I think it's most shorts that have been trying to short are out of the market.
Yeah.
Probably zero or maybe even below zero if they're trading leverage. You know, you hear some of these groups are still shorting. It's like, really? So that's one problem with the lack of liquidity, I think, on it. So in order to capitalize on that, I think you got to look at trading at certain levels and times. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff like that, one of those moves overnight, it just starts at 4 o'clock in the morning. Or they
Exactly.
Form, right?
Yep.
The bird catches the worm. You can look at those levels like in crude over here. Seems like it's bottoming, right?
Exactly.
I just don't like these kind of candles. And banana peel?
Yep.
When I see the reverse banana peel, like goes down and then it spikes up, and then spikes up, spikes up. NASDAQ. So trades that come through that arrow to sell there is in anywhere around the midpoint, either buy or sell is not really a good trade. Now, granted, it did go down 3 or 4 points, but I don't like those at all. I like the extended ones. But here comes rally time in the NASDAQ. We got, let me see copper. Copper's really a good economic indicator, and it's bounced up lately. Now, granted, it had a huge breakdown, so you could see there's how copper's been since basically the crash bottom, which we just bounced off of the '09 bottom. So we'll see if this is just a short covering rally or a flash in the pan. Not seeing any uptick in these numbers anywhere in the world, economic-wise. I see an uptick in QE. See if the NASDAQ can catch up to the S&P. Where's my other charts? Go through the spread charts. We haven't done that yet today. I said it last week. They're together again. S&P and the yen have linked back up.
It's interesting how that happens, huh?
Yeah. Interesting how the dollar was the one that came up to crude instead of the other way around. I mean, crude has come down a little bit, but that's why you got to be cognizant. Like you'll look, so this is a 1 hour chart on crude. And then we'll pull up the 1 hour chart here. And the old school way of buying breakouts and, you know, obviously you want to trade the trend, but you have to get in at the proper areas. You know, you can't just buy breakouts in this, or else I guess it could still work. You buy a breakout, and then you took heat, and then you're up a little bit, and then you took some heat, and then finally you took 3 days later, you've got your trade. If you bought a breakout here, or you bought it here. But if you look and you were trying to buy up here, you're fighting against headwinds of if you're just a chartist and you're just running on technical analysis, you could say, well, for me, I could say, well, this is overvalued, but I always have my eye on alternative ways of looking at the market. This is more hedge fund style anyway, you know, spread trading, arbitrage trading, that most of those funds, that's all they do. So they're always long and short something. If they buy oil, they might be short heating oil or short natural gas, a different energy complex. So you're always trying to hedge your bet or get outperformance. Same thing here. You love crude up here, that was above the band. Well, you can see in this spread chart, this is the US dollar. Oil is priced in dollars, so if the dollar rallies, that means priced in dollars, crude will come down, just naturally from a mathematical standpoint. It doesn't always have to do it. It can outperform. The dollar can go up and crude go up. It has happened, but in general, this is a mathematical formula. So for me, when you get these extreme areas, you got to kind of be now for me, that once they come together, this trade most times actually goes the opposite way. So now the dollar will keep rallying. Usually, I'd say probably 65% of the time, and then crude keep going down. Kind of like crude was low here, caught up to the dollar, and then crude went higher, and the dollar went lower. But there are times where it comes together and then it goes back the other way. So very critical spot here for crude and the dollar. Might even step back. 4 hours. This is a big wipeout on the dollar. After the Fed tested the low again, held, now it's back into that range. I think it's range bound in here. So always got to follow the dollar. That's what makes the world go round. Most commodities are priced in dollars. Most transactions, well, let's say 70% of transactions are priced in dollars around the world. Mark to market, mark to value. That's most things are in dollars. And look at the spread trade. So we'll go down the spread trade lane here for currencies. Got a Euro Aussie spread trade setting up. Pretty good. Short the Euro Aussie. See here and another spread trade. Stuff is pretty. So pretty much what I'm doing is I'm looking at different currencies in a different light, and this allows me to see the relationships of relative strength. So like even today, the euro had rallied a bit, and seems to be because of the euro Swissy. Drop that down to 104. They said they put back in a peg again between 105 and 110, so it looks like it got cheap to that, and probably the Swiss National Bank came in and bought euros, or the euro Swissy. Got a possible buy the Aussie spread trading coming up. And back to that. All right, let's see. Eight. Well, we'll have to hit it earlier in the morning tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's a lot of numbers. A lot of these moves seem like they've been happening earlier.
Yeah.
What do you see on crude?
I mean, just basing. I mean, it's retesting these highs, but we'll see if we get a pullback for a potential long. But it's just, you know what I mean, basing near those lows.
You know, it did hold that low there.
Yeah.
You just hate this. The lower lows here. With the higher high, it's just, from a technical pattern, it's just a little bit tougher. But that's what it does,
exactly.
Right? It makes that low and then it goes. It's a washout. I think it's that old school pit mentality, too.
Yeah.
Got to remember a lot of the pit guys that have been trading in crude, they basically were handing money for 20 years straight. And I know guys that have made tons and tons of money in the crude pit, NYMEX in New York. They used to call it the Crimex down where we were because no matter what was going on, there was always some this was
Scandal.
And
Yeah.
some 10+ years ago, there was always some silly rumor that came out and crude rip, and you'd be like crushed, and then they'd refute it, and it was probably some group sending out bad info or whatever, you know, like yelling fire in a crowded theater. It float a rumor, cutting production or something, and the market rips. So that's what a lot of these things are. And that seems to go back to trend. That's why I like to kind of stick on the higher time frame. Getting heavier in the higher time frames though. 4 hours good, 1 hour's bearish, so that's conflict. 15-minute is flat but turning up, so flat. 5 minutes pretty flat, so you're gonna have kind of chop. I don't know what it would take for it to break out or break down. I think it has enough fundamental news to break down, but I don't know on the outside. I think the Middle East stuff will calm down pretty soon. It's not already. So kind of right back at the midpoint. Nasdaq fell asleep and Andrew fell asleep.
I'm right here. I'm not sleeping.
I'm kidding, gosh.
I need to, though.
Need to, right? Maybe tonight you get some sleep.
Exactly. Sleep when I'm dead, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
not all of us can spend time on the beach, Dave.
Yeah, I'll have a nap for you. Let's see for the closing prices. I guess 66. That's pretty
on the
fair,
S&P?
so yeah. 66 is the close. I don't believe it, but oh well. That's the stats. Just the stats.
That's just the way it works. We don't make the rules. We just live by them, right?
Right. Well, you could always get the spike to a new high and then sell off and be sitting right there.
Oof.
Is allergies kicking up out west there?
You know it, man.
All the spring blossoms coming. Oh, yeah, bad in Chicago. I'm actually feeling a little bit better down here, but it's like, I don't know what the mold or all the junk without the snow, it just finally melted and all the moldy leaves and stuff killing me. So yeah, I got 66 for the close. S&P. True, just you got its own planet.
As normal.
It looks like it can break down though, honestly. I mean, you can get back down to the 46 area. really kind of hanging on the precipice there. But we'll be watching it.
Exactly. All right, well, we'll see you guys in the wrap-up call.
Okay. Take it easy.